Students at McAuliffe Elementary get a lesson in bicycle safety from their local police department. Art students at Shawnee Mission West forge a partnership with the Kansas City Art Institute to produce a unique sculpture exhibit. Kindergartners at Bonjour Elementary go in search of the Great Pumpkin. And the Shadow gets a lesson on H1N1 influenza and tips on staying healthy. All on this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Welcome to Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. I'm your host, Leanne Neal. Police officers from Lenexa are lending their expertise to instruct third grade students at McAuliffe Elementary on key points of bicycle safety.
Welcome to the bike rodeo, and this is a fun thing. I want you guys to understand that right away.
Each year, students across the district participate in bicycle rodeos and safety clinics. At McAuliffe, Lenexa police officer Danny Chavez worked with school staff and PTA volunteers to organize a two-part bike safety clinic aimed at instructing students on key safety skills, rules of the road, and how to protect themselves when riding a bicycle.
I know you see lots of cones and chalk drawings. I'm going to explain what all that is here in just a second, but this really is a fun course.
Prior to gathering on the playground, McAuliffe third graders watched a video on bicycle safety featuring Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Who can remember maybe a couple of things you guys learned from that video that's important to remember when it comes to bicycle safety? Yes? That's right, and I see you all are wearing your helmets, and I'm glad to see that. Because anytime you ride your bike, you've got to have your helmet on. Remember what the rule is, guys, how it should fit. You don't want it way back here, and you don't want it way down to where you can't see. The front of your helmet should be right about your forehead, right? And we don't want it too loose, and we don't want it too tight where it's choking us either. You want to be able to put about 2 fingers under your chin, and you should be able to put 1 finger up between the helmet and your forehead. All right, so if it's too loose, you need to tighten it up a little bit.
Officer Chavez reviewed and demonstrated important safety signals, including turn signals and right-of-way rules with students.
Left, right, and if you intend to stop, you just drop your hand down just like this. And that lets those people behind you know that you're about to stop so they don't run right into the back of you. Okay, let's go over them one more time. Left turn, right turn, and then stop.
After a brief review, students who brought their bike and helmet to school put those safety skills to the test on a bicycle rodeo course complete with street signs, crosswalks, and a roundabout.
The first time through, guys, just take it nice and easy. It's not for any time or a competition or anything like that. Just have fun, be safe, and go at your own pace. And then once you've gone through it, maybe once or a couple of times, then you'll really get the hang of it.
Once students had a chance to practice, Officer Chavez encouraged them to pick up the pace, but cautioned students to focus on safety first.
If you're more comfortable, you can go a little bit faster. You still don't want to be out of control, but if you're more comfortable, you can pick up the pace a little bit. But still obeying those signs, make sure we're stopping, looking both ways.
The event was both fun and educational. Most students agreed that the most important thing they learned centered on a key safety accessory.
You have a helmet on, and if it gets crashed, you have to buy a new one.
Elementary schools across the district partner with local police officers to hold bicycle rodeos and safety clinics aimed at helping students learn the rules of the road. Check with your school to find out when a clinic is scheduled in your area. Up next, find out about an art exhibit featuring sculptures created collaboratively by students from Shawnee Mission West and the Kansas City Art Institute.
Hi, I'm Morgan Thede, and I'm a 7th grader at Indian Hills Middle School. I read the book Seeing Sky Blue Pink by Candace Ransom. 8-year-old Maddie and her mother used to have perfect days in the city. They would go to the library and share a maple walnut sundae at Rudy's Diner. Maddie always got to rub the left hoof of the horse statue in the park for good luck. Now, Maddie has a new stepfather named Sam and lives in the country. He has a cat who can tell the weather, and Sam can build the best treehouse. Sam even believes in a color called sky blue pink. Maddie loves spending time with him and wants to be exactly like him. But she worries about one thing. she might never have perfect days with her mother again. I rate this book 3 out of 5 stars for its love of nature and adventure.
Welcome back. Sculpture and fiber arts students from Shawnee Mission West High School had the opportunity to spend a day at the Kansas City Art Institute learning from a master sculptor and working collaboratively with students from the Art Institute to create iron ore sculptures.
Okay, ready?
Through a training program for teachers offered at the Kansas City Art Institute, Shawnee Mission West Art Department Chair Rosie Reardon forged a partnership with noted sculptor and chair of the Sculpture Department at Kansas City Art Institute, Michael Wickerson, to provide her students a unique opportunity to learn from professionals.
Kansas City Art Institute offers Saturday classes for art teachers, and so they put on these free institutes, and last spring they offered one in aluminum casting, and I knew I was going to be teaching sculpture in the fall, so I went to the class, and I was the first one here, and so I had a chance to meet Michael, and we had struck up a conversation, and he said he was looking for a collaboration with a high school, and I said I volunteer, so that's how we kind of got involved.
Sculpture students studying with Wickerson at the Art Institute met with Reardon and her students to determine the specifics of the project. Shawnee Mission West students then had an opportunity to spend a day at the Art Institute working on individual as well as collaborative pieces.
There's a new gallery down in Shawnee Mission West. I was invited to do a show through Rosie Reardon, meeting her on a educational workshop I did with her and other high school teachers. She offered me the show. I felt it was in a high school setting, students could be involved, and I asked my students to help me do the show. They've planned the whole layout, the setup. They've headed in Fridays every morning to interact with the other students. So my students, I want them to realize how to do this on their own by the time they graduate, so stuff like this continues.
The chance to work at the Art Institute offered Shawnee Mission West students the opportunity to work with forges in a facility they did not have access to at the high school level. Student J.C. Champion explains.
Oh, we're learning how to cast iron, make sand resin molds, probably some other molds, I'm sure. We're gonna mess around with clay and see molting iron.
We have a coal-fired but processed coke-fired furnace. You charge that up inside a stacked furnace. You put some air on it with a couple of shot vacs, and just with a little bit of electricity, if you can do your vacuuming at home, you can melt iron. My group will tend to a cupola. It takes about 5 people. They will operate that, and they will cast iron for their students. What the students on the other end learning are some techniques for what is called cold casting. Very simple clay, open-faced, flat tile works where they can do plaster molds, concrete molds, plaster cast, concrete casts. But what I'd like to do is let them recognize that that technique of working in molds is as simple, as difficult as making Jell-O.
The project was a success and offered an unparalleled experience for the high school students.
It's such an awesome opportunity because they get to see the process from start to finish. They created the molds, they did all the planning, they're working together with these college students and Michael, which is a rare opportunity, and Michael is putting together an exhibition in our gallery in November, and it's actually going to be a collaborative effort between our students, the Kansas City Art Institute students, and Michael. So you'll see the gamut from here's what kids do in high school to college to a sculptor who's, a noted artist in the field. So, it provides them an opportunity to see the process all the way through.
Wickerson hopes this type of experience will not only inspire students, but help them to think broadly and creatively about art.
I think it'll at least move beyond the art store as a supply house for how they make their visual arts. Burning out the molds and having fire dry against the sand is no different artistically than putting watercolor ink on paper. There's no difference between those lines you're drawing, those ephemeral, transparent lines that are moving and temporal. If they can see that as a figure-ground relationship, they'll move their material and realize this whole world is a palette for them.
The collaborative sculptures, along with works created by Michael Wickerson, will be displayed at the West Patrons Gallery at Shawnee Mission West High School. For more information, contact the school. Coming up, we'll join students in a time-honored tradition, a field trip to the pumpkin patch.
Hi, I'm Bianca with Kids Science News Network. Have you ever wondered how the space shuttle blasts off? Put on your rollerblades and grab a ball. Stand still and throw the ball to a friend. The ball is like the gas that shoots downward, and your movement is similar to what happens to the shuttle. Newton discovered this law of motion. Sometimes it's described as an action having an equal and opposite reaction. To find out more, visit our website. Until next time, I'm Bianca with Kids Science News Network.
Kindergartners at Bonjour Elementary traveled to a local farm to learn firsthand about how pumpkins are grown. Students combed the patch to find the perfect pumpkin to take home with them. Videographer Clayton Turrentine went along for the ride. Perhaps you will hearken back to your own special trip to the pumpkin patch.
Pumpkin patch is always a very fun field trip. A lot of the kids don't have a chance to go, so we like to take them. It also correlates really well with our science and social studies objective.
We're buying a pumpkin.
Yes, and doing other fun stuff.
Getting to actually see some animals that they might not have seen before. They're getting to see the pumpkins on the ground.
We're at the pumpkin patch. We are doing a lot of stuff, and we just got our pumpkins now. This pumpkin is very heavy. You see that cannon right over there? You see a pumpkin over there? And every time we did, it broke.
Coming up, we'll get a lesson in hand washing and H1N1 from the district's health resource specialist.
Hi, my name is Adam.
And my name is Rock.
We go to Sunflower Elementary.
We read the book Night of the Howling Dogs by Graham Salisbury. It is about a boy named Dylan and his scout troop.
Dylan and his troop are hiking on an ancient lava flow in Hawaii. When they get there, Dylan spots a couple of strange-looking dogs.
Tragedy strikes. Dylan and another boy, Louie, are the only ones uninjured, and they have had some troubles in the past.
Will they overcome their differences and become friends? Will everyone be okay? Read this book to find out. We rate this book 5 out of 5 stars because it is a great suspenseful story.
Welcome back. The H1N1 influenza virus has been front page news for months, and new information seems to be released almost daily by public health agencies regarding the illness, its target population, and the development of a vaccine. H1N1 has particularly been at the forefront of discussion among school personnel and parents due to the fact that children and young people from 6 months to 24 years of age have been among the most susceptible to the illness. To find out more about H1N1 and what the school district is doing to respond, I asked health resource specialist Sue Miller to answer some frequently asked questions about the illness, the vaccine, and preventative measures.
We've heard a lot about H1N1. How is it impacting the school district, and what has the school district been doing so far this year?
Well, we've certainly seen an increase in absenteeism from it. We think it's from that anyway. It's definitely influenza-like illnesses that we're seeing a lot of. Normal seasonal flu absenteeism is about 4 to 5% at a height, and we are seeing some buildings at over 10%.
When you see those peaks, what have the schools been doing to help alert their community or work with their parents?
When we see the peaks, we send out a center voice message to all of the parents to let them know. Some buildings are doing a paper notification also if they feel like their parents aren't getting the message. They're doing a little bit of extra cleaning, but we're doing that pretty much throughout the district right now, wiping down hard surfaces that are frequently touched to try to reduce the spread. I'm doing a lot of education with the students about hand washing and preventing disease.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms primarily have been fever, severe body aches, tiredness, a lot of cough, a very severe cough. Some respiratory as far as nasal congestion and runny nose, a little bit of a sore throat, but typically the high fever, headache, achiness, and cough have been the primary symptoms.
And what have the CDC and the local health department recommendations been, and what are we suggesting to parents if they see any of these symptoms?
We're really encouraging parents to screen their students every day before they come to school for fever and for coughing. If they do see those kinds of symptoms, we want them to stay home. If the children aren't feeling well and seem just not really themselves and excessively tired, we encourage them to keep them home a day just to see if something else develops. As soon as we identify any student that's ill in the buildings, we send them to the nurse and they're screened for the illness then and sent home if need be.
The school district has created an H1N1 update on the district's website. There, parents can access information from the Center for Disease Control, local health departments, and updates from the school district. A screening tool is also available to assist parents in determining if their child may have the illness.
What's been the biggest challenge for school nurses, school health professionals with this particular outbreak?
Well, the challenges have been that we're seeing it so early and we're seeing it in unusual numbers. So planning for absenteeism and screening for kids and just doing your daily the regular things that come into the health room has been a challenge for the nurses. The buildings, I think, have been challenged by the number of absenteeism they're seeing, so we're hoping that we can get that under control once we receive the vaccine.
I know when I've gone out, parents often say, so how bad does it have to get before you're going to close school?
Well, typically we don't look at closing schools until we just have so many absenteeism from teachers and staff, other staff and students that we just can't operate business anymore. And we just haven't seen those kinds of absences yet.
The Shawnee Mission School District is partnering with the Johnson County Health Department to provide free vaccination clinics at the schools.
Well, we've been collaborating with the health department ever since the H1N1 came out. And part of that has been to offer the vaccine to students and staff in the buildings that meet targeted criteria. Currently, the targets have changed somewhat, and they've got a subset out now that is all children 4 months of age and younger, down to 6 months, pregnant women, and children ages 5 to 24 that have a chronic health disease that would put them more at risk for a complication from the flu. So we're moving ahead with that. We're collecting consents at this time and just waiting to see when we'll be allocated the vaccine so we can start planning our clinics.
The district is awaiting information regarding when the vaccine will be made available and in what quantity. Originally, it was thought the vaccine would be available in November, but it may be December before it becomes fully available. The school district will continue to update the website, and schools will communicate directly with their families. One key not only to avoiding H1N1, but many other seasonal illnesses, is in knowing how to protect yourself from the spread of disease. Miller shared with us the proper technique for hand washing.
The proper way to wash your hands is to wet your hands under the water, get soap on your hands, and then wash all surfaces, palms, in between your fingers, fingernails, and you can do it while you sing the Happy Birthday song twice or while you sing the alphabet song. And that's usually about the right amount of time.
W-X-N-Y-N-Z. 6 minutes. Done.
Students in Leah Huntley's classroom at Corinth Elementary are learning this technique with the help of a special product.
The icky cough and sneezing germs, are they on the marker? Our PTA purchased this kit for us where we put on the gross germs and then wash our hands and then look and see if we've gotten all the germs off. And what we're realizing is that we're not washing our hands very well. And so with this glow lotion, the kids are really practicing hard, washing all parts of their hands. and they're going home excited, sharing it with their family, sharing it with their brothers and sisters about really clean, healthy habits. And every single time you go to the bathroom, you have to wash your hands.
You scrub really hard to get all the germs off, so if you touch something, nobody gets sick.
The biggest thing people can do is wash their hands. That's always the best way to prevent infection. And just try to stay away from other people that are sick. And if you are sick, stay home so you don't infect someone else.
To learn more about H1N1 and the school district's partnership with the local health department, visit our website at www.smsd.org. Click on the H1N1 Update button. That's all the time we have for this episode of Spotlight on Shawnee Mission. Join us again as we continue to feature the programs and people of Shawnee Mission who are helping guide students to success. Thank you for watching.